Hey everybody, DCT here with just a bunch of training camp notes. Alright, let's get right into it. Roll the film.
So here we have some of the defensive guys, just working out, working on pretty much just getting a little bit better with everything being on the line. I think it's working out. I think we're going to really start to see some good things on this defensive line, and I think they're going to be really good, Here we have Randy Gregory, I did see him a little bit earlier on, without a helmet on or anything, just holding up the tackling dummies and stuff for players. But I do think Randy Gregory is trying to ease back into a little bit of pro football. Here he is, finally. We get to see him in his helmet, get to see how he's doing, really. I think he's doing pretty good, and I hope that he can do a little bit for us. Randy Gregory one-on-one versus Tyron Smith. That's always a good thing to see, especially against Tyron Smith, because he's one of the best, so if not the best in the NFL. Randy Gregory could have been one of the best defensive ends in the league, but, he had the behavioral issues, so, we passed on him. But it does come to my report saying that Sean Lee, Jalen Smith, and Leighton Vander Esch are looking good, and Randy Gregory is looking good and a lot faster. So that's always good. Here we have some offense. I believe that was Cooper Rush right there, just throwing a nice, perfect ball. Cooper Rush to Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup being hopefully going to be on the 53-man roster. Michael Gallup is he's able to spin free. He's fast. He has good hands. He can jump. He can get open. His footwork is the one thing I'd work on. There we have Dak Prescott, and I believe that's Dalton Schultz, the Cowboys draft pick this year, in I believe the 4th round. So, here we have the first team offense, Zeke, and everybody, Zeke's footwork is getting better, We'll talk about that when the running backs come up. But I just think that Cooper Rush is going to be a good backup for us. And I really do think that he's going to help us out, as a backup quarterback, especially if Dak gets hurt. But Rico Gathers, I'd say his only thing that needs to be worked on is blocking. But Cooper Rush out there practicing, finally having the pads on, earned the star. He has to earn the star. He already earned the stars. We can see it's on the side of his helmet. So many of the rookies, though, need to. Here we have Dak just talking. I think Zeke is in there. There's a couple of the receivers coming up to him. One thing Cowboys have to work on is receivers, getting a little bit better with them. If, like Stat Talk said, Allen Hurns could be good. But I think that we could be in the market for him. But I think we're pretty good with the receivers that we got. Dak throwing nice ball to Lance Lenoir, who the Cowboys really like. I think Dak really likes Lance Lenoir, and I don't blame him. I think he's a very talented, young, good player. I'll just read off some of the things that some of the Cowboys insiders really think about him. Lance Lenoir, I know that I think he's a good player, but it doesn't really matter what I think. Now, Lance Lenoir, though, he's not a huge guy either. He's kind of like Cole Beasley in size, where Cole Beasley is he's 5'8", 180, and Lance Lenoir is 210 and 6 feet tall. But for now, let's go to the offensive line coach, Paul Alexander, about Connor Williams.
I think he's a terrific athlete. he had a good week for a rookie. I told him you had a good week for a rookie, but you get no bonus points. You know, you got to have just a good week. You know, one thing you have to do is you have to have a brain. And he had one of the highest IQ scores at the combine. So he's a very, very bright kid. So he's got that working for himself and hard work. And if you do that, the guy at Texas in his whole career, he gave up 1 sack. I mean, that's unbelievable. So he's obviously a guy who knows how to play football, who's smart and hardworking. So for him, there is no transition. It's natural. He's made for it. It's a great group. It's a group that when you correct something on tape that you saw the day before, they'll say, yes, coach, and plus I need to do this better too. You know, and wow.
Here we have all the offensive linemen, but there's Connor Williams, number 52. Here's some of the other players. I believe that is Sean Lee right there, if I'm not mistaken, or Leighton Vander Esch. But Lance Lennard, they say he's very fast and can separate downfield, which I like. But now on to the defensive guys. You know, everyone on the defense entirely looks better. I really do think that the linebackers are going to be very good. Jalen Smith, you know, LVE, and Sean Lee, I think they're all doing a little bit better there. We see Vander Esch catching. Hopefully he can have some good hands. That's what I hope for him. I think he could really make a big difference if we can get some turnovers, especially on the defense. I think this defense is highly underrated and everything, but what I like to see is the older guys mentoring the young guys, kind of like Sean Lee, what he's doing to all the other guys. There's DeMarcus Lawrence, D-Law. He looks faster and stronger, you know. Taco is taking snaps and learning from him, which is good, you know. You like to see that. Like I just said, the older guys mentoring the younger guys. Sadly, we couldn't have that. Excuse me, there with Jason Witten to some of the young guys. Here we have just DeMarcus Lawrence focusing in on blocking on the O-line. You know, Richard Ashe. I think he could use one thing: impact and hit power. That's looking good, though, along with Dr. Jahad Ward, Coney, Ely, and Taco all working out good. You know, the secondary, Byron Jones got his first pick at cornerback yesterday in practice against Dak Prescott, which was very good. You know, you always like to hear that about players. They're doing good on the secondary. It's not so good for Dak, but, you know, it's good for the secondary there. We have Jordan Lewis. Now, the team does like him. I think he's really highly underrated. I think he's going to be a big playmaker for us. You know, Shidobi Awuzie and all those guys are really going to come together, I think, and make a hell of a team. You know, the team, what they said about Woods, said, you know, he was a 6th-round draft pick that we traded up for, and he went to all of the 16 games for the team in his rookie campaign, and he even recorded his first interception against who else but Matt Ryan, you know, in the Falcons. There's some of the running backs. Here we are with the running back, Zeke, working on footwork and strength. It's all looking good for him. Zeke's footwork, you know, is getting better. The running back's speed is getting better. There's Dak and Zeke, but Trey Williams could work on footwork and ball carrying. I think those things could be better. We'll see it here in a minute. And I'll show you guys what I kind of mean by that. But there's all the running backs doing some running drills. I think we're going to have a fantastic group. We have a fantastic group of guys. And I think they're all going to really help us out here this season, and I can't wait to see them all on the field this season. And even in preseason, it's going to be great, because, well, it's Cowboy football. And that starts August 9th, so in less than 10, or just over 10 days, I think it's 12 to be exact. Here's where I mean. He needs a little bit of, there's ball carrying, the ball come out, and footwork we'll see here in just a second with him. That's Trey Williams. Now, I gotta remind you, he is a fairly good player. I think he can be a good player. I don't see him making the 53-man roster quite yet. Maybe in the future. But, we have some great players. We really do, with great talent. I don't like to knock anyone, but, I just think that he isn't ready quite yet. But here's just some of the team practicing. DeMarcus Lawrence, all on the field. I think they're going to have a great time. Alright, now here we have the offense. You can see the offensive line. You can just see a flash of DeMarcus Lawrence right there. Now, training camp, yes, is finally here. We're finally watching our first take of Cowboy football, It's just great to have football at least back a little bit in the house. And I just cannot wait for preseason to see these great guys on the field. Like I said, Rico Gathers is looking good. Alan Hearns altogether looks good. And, even better than he was in Jacksonville, I think. I think his juke has worked out, his agility, I think that's all worked out. And I think it's going to be a good thing for the Cowboys that we got him. People say he wasn't very good. Well, Blake Bortles was throwing to him. And here we have some of the running backs. Now this team is looking better than ever. Zeke's going to be playing for all 16 games, which will give us about 50 extra yards. I can't wait. The defense looks better than ever. And the D tackles are also looking good.
The D tackles also look really good. I'll see you guys later. Peace off.